The price of staying alive. Big evil companies such as Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and Savani are sucking every drop of life they can out of type 1 diabetes patients, not only using them for steady income, but overcharging wildly, knowing that we can't do anything about it except to pay them and move on. Now, the first little context here, the first insulin treatment for type 1 diabetes came from pig extracts, and Frederick Banning, who was the first one to create the artificial manufacturable insulin, donated that patent to the University of Toronto for $1, saying, "Insulin doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the world." I love that. Awesome. Really nice thing. Not, it's just the absence agreed, and what follows is quite the contrary. Now, the insulin vials, just for standard 10 milliliter vial, exceeds $300 while we still need to throw these away after 28 days and buy new supplies and blood glucose monitoring equipment. It's just the fact that, you know, it only costs, manufacturing costs only cost between $2 and $7, yet they exceed it by thousands of times, is crazy to me considering we need this, and it's not an optional cost, it's a mandatory cost. And they're just these pharmaceutical companies are taking advantage of a disease, forcing those under its influence into a lifetime subscription that they can't get out of for the rest of their life, and making every step of the way exclusively beneficial to them. And it's unfair to millions that there are no affordable options for people who can't buy expensive healthcare or buy it out of pocket. And in my particular case, I would not have been able to afford it had my parents not stepped in, and I would just be screwed. Um, I there was nothing I could have done. I mean, I could get a job to cover exclusively those costs, I guess, but who knows my health scenario by then? I mean, my health would be all over the place. And speaking of that, the cost of just these vials is about 20K a year on average, which is a huge financial dent. So you need to be doing well if you're going to be able to pay for this. And imagine having, imagine being a dad that with two kids that have diabetes. That's 40K a year. That's 20K per patient just for these. Let alone the sensors and the maybe a pump and a lot of other things. It's absolutely crazy that it's like that. And media organizations across different platforms, they show insulin prices have become so expensive that people who need the medication, they can't afford it. And the situation has become deadly serious because millions of diabetes patients need insulin to survive. And the media also demonstrates that how production costs stay minimal, yet insulin prices in stores become extremely high, which forces patients to decide between cutting their medication or failing to cover their bills or seeking emergency financial aid. And the unified media coverage shows that patients require immediate policy solutions because they lack the ability to wait for solutions. And after that, you can see they're kind of agreeing with me. Um, and for another opinion, we're going to cut to my buddy, who's also insulin dependent. And yeah, we'll see what he thinks.
Hi, my name is Ethan. I am a type 1 diabetic, have been for the last 4 years, a little bit more now, actually. So, had my fair share of dealing with prices and seeing how easy or difficult it is to get insulin and see all the prices and how they're changing too. So, from what I've seen, the prices of insulin as well as other diabetic supplies has gone up tremendously, and the ease of which I can obtain insulin and everything else is it seems to be getting harder. I don't know if that's because they're making less or there's more diabetics, but either way, the insulin seems to it's difficult to get, and the prices it's not cheap, especially for younger people who don't necessarily have the funds to afford them. If you're lucky to get under a good insurance and able to afford an insurance where you can get insulin, you might be able to work something out where you can get it. But nevertheless, the prices they're pretty tough.
So yeah, as you can see, my buddy Ethan here agrees with me for the most part. He has his own struggles, obviously, and it's just it's not right what they're doing. I think one problem is the way how with capitalism it can get where with supply and demand there's just a crazy demand and as much supply as they want, and they just control that completely. And I believe in capitalism. However, the free market system needs specific rules to stop insulin prices from getting too high, and markets should be watched to make sure research, incentives, and operational efficiency are rewarded because it helps prevent price hikes and reveals production and delivery costs so medical care reaches patients. Reaches patients. Price limits with a stronger competition and financial help for low income patients will protect business freedom while keeping healthcare prices fair for community well being. Um, that's what I could find as far as trying to find a solution. Um, However, I don't know if that's a good idea because I don't know how to fix this and while retaining the freedom of capitalism. And if it was a part, maybe if it was a part of the government, but at that point, do we really want to give them more power over us? I don't think so. Um, but overall, it makes me very upset when I see this trend, and I know there's just no other reason than just big pharma being just milking us for money, and they can milk us for a lot less money and still be crazy profitable. But they just don't care about the people being affected by it. And I'll say this once, I'll say it again, and this is my concluding statement. Pharmaceutical companies are taking advantage of a disease, forcing those under its influence into a lifetime subscription which they can't get out of for the rest of their life and making every step of the way exclusively beneficial to them.